God Valley is finally over. Xebec versus Roger and Garp is hands down the battle of the strongest of all time, like in all of One Piece. I think the only thing that can surpass this is the Void Century flashback, or in the future of Luffy versus Emu. And so the battle has finally begun. Garp asks Roger if he hears Rox's voice too. The voice is pleading them both to kill him. This is definitely the voice of all things, as I mentioned last chapter review. We know that lineage factors matter a lot in One Piece, similar to how Oden and Momonosuke, who have strong ties to the era before the Void Century, could hear the voice of all things. That's how they heard the whales, and especially Zunisha, whose speech has the same kind of bubble. With how shocked Roger and Garp both are at this phenomenon, this is likely the very first time both of them experienced the voice of all things. Although taken over by the devil's magic, Xebec's will is so strong that he can muster up enough strength to speak to the two strongest in God Valley, the two who have the power to stop his rampage. However, Roger and Garp are still unsure what has happened. None of it makes sense. How can a warrior who was able to defeat an admiral single-handedly 18 years ago with no sweat at all lost to Emu in a matter of seconds? On top of that, he killed his own family. Bro, like, he doesn't even recognize his strongest rival. But there is barely any time to think as Xebec, with tears in his eyes, strikes Roger, who blocks his attack with his own blade Ace coated in Conqueror's Haki, while Garp takes this chance to give Xebec a punch that distorts his entire face. Yet, even with the future Pirate King and the hero of the Marines combo attack, it doesn't even push Demon Xebec back for that long, as Xebec repels both Roger and Garp using his own Haki. This repel is so busted that Roger and Garp smash onto the side of the remaining mountain. The clash of their Conqueror's Haki splits the sky in two as well, confirming that all of them are in fact using Conquerors. The rest of the pirates see this as a signal to get the hell out of God Valley. In fact, the Rocks pirates, with their captain possessed and them gaining riches beyond their beliefs, don't care at all about their pirate crew anymore. Shiki, who's kind of like the tactician of the crew, proclaims that this is the end of the Rocks pirates. They leave their captain to die a demon. It's kind of sad that as strong of a man Xebec was, in the end, he had to rely not upon his crewmates but his rivals, the enemy pirate and a marine, to give him death. After taking the massive hit from Xebec, both Garp and Roger realize that there is no trying to dispel the possession. They must put their lives on the line to kill a rock. So Garp calls up his men to tell them that, bro, get the hell out of the island, like evacuate immediately, like this shit is about to blow up. Their next clash is gonna be so heated that the island is done for. Like, they need to get the hell out of here. Roger does the same, calling his crew. The instant Rayleigh gets to the ship with Shiki, they must set sail immediately. However, Roger and Garp, they aren't planning on dying at God Valley. Both promise their crew and unit that they will make it back for them for sure, so they should wait for them at sea. Garp and Roger both turn on their serious mode as they take off their jackets, which reminded me of the moment where Garp and Son Goku took off their jackets to fight against Shiki, like over a decade later, because bro escaped from prison because he was like, oh nah, no way Roger just like let himself die, like he was my rival, bro. How can Roger just die like that? He beat me in Ed War. Garp laughs that he came here to capture Roger and Xebec, but look how things have changed. Similarly, Roger never planned on fighting the Rocks crew or even Garp. He just wanted to save Shiki, grab some treasure, and dip. Instead, both are forced to stray away from their paths. So why don't they call a temporary truce? Garp isn't excited about it, but for the sake of his men, he can't just let a demon Xebec roam free. Honestly, not just his men, but the citizens who are still evacuating. And imagine this demon like gets out of God Valley. Like, is GG. Like, bro got wings. Like, he can fly away, causing both men to jump into the action again. I found it pretty interesting here that even before this temporary truce, Truce, the attack both landed on Xebec in the beginning of the chapter was a team effort. Roger blocked Xebec's sword, allowing for Garp to land his punch. These two are on the same Haki wavelength since the beginning of this fight. Even now, they wonder if there is a way for them to wake up Rocks. This dude is so busted that he smacks up Roger and Garp over and over again with little to no damage being taken, by the way. Meanwhile, all of the Roger pirates are about to enter their ships. Even Gloriosa jumps in with them as her Rocks pirates crew is disbanded now. On the other side of the island though, Lin and Kaido are still bickering over Kaido's dragon fruit. We'll get to my goat dragon later, but I'm talking about the Azure dragon fruit, not the undisputed goat of One Piece, monkey deadbeat dragon. And Big Mom says that Kaido owes her a lifelong debt for allowing him to steal the fruit which she promised him to begin with. But Kaido says nah, instead proclaiming that he will create a crew where brutality and survival of the strongest is the new law. It will surpass even the Rocks pirates. However, Big Mom says he will never be able to beat her. Then they both depart with smiles on their faces. Now, one thing we need to remember is that as soon as Xebec got taken over by Imu and he lost against the world, the Rocks pirates were no more. This whole crew was built on the idea that Xebec is the strongest and he has the power to give the members what they want. Wealth, power, fame, you would be able to get everything you joined Rocks. But now that Xebec has lost, that promise with which the crew was formed, it has all shattered. There is no friendship between any of the Rocks pirates members, nor loyalty towards their captain Xebec. In any other crew, the members would fight to save their captain. We saw this with Law and his crew. Beppo risked his life to make sure Law got away safely. Not with the Rocks pirates though. Even Roger and Garp fighting against Xebec is part respect for their rival and part stalling him so that their crew and men can get away. This mentality even goes to Whitebeard. As soon as Xebec struck against him and he felt he was in Rocks' way, Newgate knew it was over. Xebec didn't ask him to kill him. They weren't family or a crew, just aligned by a similar goal. So now that Marco's dad, who has a ship and crew named Hologram, bro, this dude, Marco's dad is named Polo, bro. Like Marco Polo. This dude Oda, bro. I swear, bro. He planned this since the time we saw Marco. Like, though, this is crazy. Marco Polo. Oh my, that's so funny, bro. You see me laughing, Oda? You see me laugh? That's so funny. Oh my god, I can't. Like, basically, Marco's dad, Polo, offers Whitebeard another ship, which he likely agrees to. While we do see other Rocks pirates running out of the island, though, it seems like Whitebeard will stay until the battle between Rocks, Roger, and Garp is over. Everyone is facing towards the camera, leaving the island, while Blackbeard's back is turned to us, suggesting to me that bro isn't running. Neither are Gabon and Rayleigh, as after getting Shiki and their crew to safety, they also run towards the battle at the center of the island. This will be important because of the decision Roger and Garp end up making right after. Imu, on the other hand, is done with God Valley. He achieved what he came to do. To Imu, Davy D. Xebec killed his wife and child after the Domi Reversi. He doesn't know that Kuma poofed Eris and Blackbeard out of the island. The entire Davy clan is gone now in Imu and the government's eyes. He finally proclaims that God Valley never even existed. We just imagined the entire flashback, you guys. I am so sorry for clickbaiting you guys for the past like few months about the whole God Valley thing. Like, I don't know what kind of fan fiction two-piece I was reading, but like it never existed, man. Like Marishwa was promised to Imu 4,000 years ago. I'm so sorry for yapping on about all this stuff. Monkey Deadbeat Dragon, he's still a deadbeat. The only valley like I even remember from anime is like the Valley of the End, you know. What the hell is a God Valley, chat?
What do you think?
Jokes aside, it seems like Imu has a time limit for how long he can take over Saturn, or in the future, Gunko's body. This could be similar to how Luffy becomes an old man for 33 seconds after using Gear 5. However, since Imu has had his fruit for over 800 years, this time limit is likely much longer, where he can expend a lot more Haki before having to switch back. Furthermore, his order to erase God Valley was so strong that no new recruits, even Navy HQ captains, wouldn't know about this incident. Everything from the residents to the island to its location, everything is purged from the history books. This isn't like the destruction of Lulusia though, as the sea level of the world didn't rise. And since Vegapunk hadn't invented Mother Flame, Imu wouldn't be able to use Uranus or whatever that weapon to zap it off the map. Talking about secrets being erased for the Marines, it made my mind go back to Ace's cover story. Here, he's in search of Blackbeard and ends up in Lulusia. He's saved by this girl named Moda who wants to sell milk to the Marines. So as a thank you, Ace infiltrates the G2 base in order to deliver a letter from Moda. Then in chapter 292, we find out about a top secret Navy ship that is set on fire by some pirates. Ace jumps into the flames to save the trapped Marine and even the top secret briefcase. Perhaps this base or even the ship held critical info about Blackbeard, which allowed Ace to track him down right after leaving Lulusia. We know Eris planned on escaping to Lulusia from God Valley. This island seems to hold significance for the Davy family, so it might not be coincidence for Ace to lock onto Blackbeard right after. This is some next level planning by Oda, if true, by the way, because this whole incident happens like in chapter 292 and 296. It's insane. Like 800 chapters later, we're still talking about this. This is crazy. Peak One Piece moment. Coming back to God Valley though, Roger asks if Garp knew about Imu, who seems like an affront to justice. He is likely referring to the Haki coming out of Imu. Those at the top can sense the ill intent and malice from another one's Haki. So it's no surprise, just by feeling Imu's presence, Roger and Garp would be disgusted. Thankfully, Garp still beats the allegations. He didn't know anything about Imu's existence. Hearing this, Roger wastes no time asking Garp if he wants to join him. Now, this could mean to join the Roger pirates or even becoming a pirate, but Bald's deep prediction is true nonetheless. Garp is a Navy soldier through and through. He says that if he leaves, who will protect the Marines? His men, the entire organization, is made up of non-celestial humans who don't even know the existence of this monster. Most are just people who want to protect the weak and uphold justice. They are innocent. If Garp leaves, they would be abandoned. By staying by their side, perhaps he can counter the injustice and corruption spread by the devil. Then we get some insane Haki lore drop. Roger says that defeating demon rocks is all about mass. Armament Haki can normally counter devil fruits, especially Conqueror's coating, which is a level even above basic armament. So why isn't Roger's attacks doing anything to Xebec? Turns out that he is countering it with his own Conqueror's Haki, using it to cancel out their attacks. Until they overcome this Haki shield, Xebec won't sustain a single bit of damage. If they keep wasting their stamina throwing out weak ass attacks, they will eventually lose. They cannot match Xebec, who is juiced up by Imu's power in a battle of attrition. Their only choice is to finish him off in one big combined attack, where they use up both of their entire Conqueror's Haki reserves to destroy the Haki shield of this monster. All they have to do is punch the devil fruit power that caused Domi Reversi out of Demon Xebec. This is the same concept that allowed for Imu's powers to be dispelled from Egghead after Joy Boy's 800-year-old musty Haki was used up. In a clash of conquerors, whoever has more willpower wins out that duel. To counter them, Demon Xebec would need to exert equal or more Haki at the same time as Roger and Garp's attack, which is pretty unlikely, and even if he does, then both parties would be rendered useless, basically no Haki left. They would end up similar to Luffy and Dressrosa after Gear 4 runs out. There is a huge chance that they won't survive after this, but the two don't care. We see Xebec still crying. It's probably like watching your body be driven while you are stuck in the backseat. Roger and Garp both can feel their rival's frustration. Roger can't even bear to watch Xebec suffer like this. Bro has his hands on the face. Instead of laughing like Gear 5 Luffy, Roger is crying as he channels up his strongest attack, Kagutsuchi's Ace, or the Fire God's Ace, which is so cool because Ace later on gets the fire fruit, you know, like his son named after the sword. This is peak One Piece right here. While Garp uses infinitum explosion, basically inputting almost limitless haki that he has onto his attack, similar to how Roger's attack foreshadows his son Ace. Garp's attack foreshadows Luffy's own power in the future, as Luffy can stretch his own haki reserves in Gear 5. This attack seals the deal against Demon Xebec, as Imu's Domi Reversi leaves the goat's body. The narrator confirms that this era of rocks is over, only leaving echoes behind, referring to the Yonkos that emerged from Rox's crew. These tremors would continue to shake the world. But the one who would create the strongest tremor for Marishwa in the future would be none other than, say it with me, my goat, Monkey Deadbeat Dragon! I saved the best part of the chapter for last. You know, we have to end God Valley with some dragon glaze. Come on, guys. This is such an insane upscale, okay? Oda knows what he's doing here. Dragon is truly the greatest of all time. Like, we knew that already, right? But this dude Dragon, yeah? He literally says to his superior officer at the Marines that he will straight up shoot this man if he doesn't let the people from God Valley, the civilians who matter the most in this conflict, onto the ship. He's him. Can we get some claps? Claps in the comment for Deadbeat Dragon. It's not over there though, okay? Like, he says that if anyone has a problem with this, he will execute them on the spot. I'm speechless at this, okay? This is peak fiction right here. Bro, like, even when this lame-ass Marine says that this will not end well for Dragon, he just says, shut your bitch ass up. Oh my god, Sabao, he said, Sabao, bring it on, bitch. This just proves to me that after this, Dragon will leave the Marines. He's gonna have a bit of a training arc, you know, for the next like 5 years, and then Akainu is gonna be at his tail like, yo, Dragon, why are you like fucking up the government's agenda? And then Dragon's gonna say like, no, bruh, the government's bad. Like, I'm gonna fuck up their agenda even more. I'm gonna create the freedom fighters and the revolutionaries and become the strongest in all of One Piece. Like, bro, you know what? After this performance in God Valley, like, Dragon is the undisputed MVP of God Valley, all right? Like, Xebec is up there, but come on, he's Dragon. You know what? Let me give my boy a hug. Hold on, guys. Bro,